Hello, history and film class. And of course I'm the only one who did a video. Yay. So the name of the film that we watched, that you guys were all present for, was The Hurricane. The major characters in this film were Reuben "Hurricane" Carter, obviously, played by Denzel Washington, Lesra Martin, who was played by, this guy's name is incredibly hard to pronounce, Vasilis Rian Shannon, Lisa Peters, the blonde Canadian lady, who was played by Deborah Kara Unger, Sam Chayton, one of the two Canadian dudes, who was played by Liev Schreiber. Oh wait, this guy was in X-Men. He was in Wolverine Origins. He played Sabretooth. That guy. And the other Canadian guy, who was Terry Swinton, played by John Hannah. Then there's Detective Della Pesca, played by Dan Hedaya, who is the detective that is the whole time trying to take down Reuben. And the last character that I put down was May Thelma Carter, played by Debbie Morgan, who is the wife of Reuben. So the historical event that was portrayed in this film was the wrongful accusation of a famous boxer named Reuben "Hurricane" Carter. This is a picture of what he actually looks like, right here. This took place in the 1960s, if I remember correctly. So throughout the entire movie, it's moving in between two different time periods. It's like the 60s and the 80s. In the 80s is this kid, Lesra Martin, and the three Canadians are taking the Lesra kid and trying to get him into college. They take him to this bookstore where they're selling a bunch of used books. He picks up a biography written by Reuben. He's reading it, and while he's reading it, it goes back to the 60s to the time leading up to Reuben's arrest. In the book, it gets up to the part where talking about his arrest, where basically he was arrested because there were two African American men that broke in to a bar and shot a bunch of people and then ran away. So the profile that was given out to the police were two black men in a white car. They found Reuben and this guy that he was being driven home by, and they were both in a white car.
We're looking for two Negroes in a white car.
Any two will do.
But they find a witness, this Italian man. They take the Italian man in for questioning, and they ask him, are these two the guys that went into the bar and shot everyone? And before they start recording the conversation that's going on, the detective says to the Italian guy, "Listen, we have records of you breaking your parole. Unless you don't want evidence of you breaking your parole to end up on this tape, then you better say that Reuben and this other guy were the two people that shot everyone." So then he turns on the recorder, and then the Italian guy says, "Yes, these were the two men that I saw shooting everyone. Reuben and the other guy he was with get arrested." Then it goes back to the 80s, and Lesra writes Reuben a letter saying, "I read your story, I'd like to meet up with you." And then they meet up with Reuben, and then the whole rest of the film is just them trying to get him another trial to get him out of jail. They eventually become successful, and Reuben gets out of jail, and everyone lives happily ever after. So there were actually two scenes that I found really interesting. The one scene that I found interesting was, it was Reuben's second time on trial, and they've gone over the trial. He's been declared guilty again. The judge said you were given fair trial with a jury of your peers. The camera pans over to the jury, and it's a bunch of white people just staring at him. And I thought that was hilarious because it's like, ahaha, jury of your peers, not white people. Another scene that I found interesting was the scene where he's put into solitary confinement for 90 days for refusing to put on the uniform. The whole time that he is in solitary confinement, he starts to go a little bit nuts. There's the angry part of him that's like, "We can't give up, man, we gotta keep fighting. Ooh, 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 we gotta keep fighting, come on, man, you gotta get it up, you gotta fight." And then there's the other guy that's scared to death, and he's in between them, like, talking to them. He's like, "Dude, calm down, I know you hate everyone right now, but you gotta calm down. You're scaring this other guy." And he's like, "I'm scared, I'm never gonna get out of here, blah." And he's just going crazy. And I thought that was a really clever scene where they portrayed his split personality between the him that wants to still fight and the him that just wants to lay down and just die. So overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I'm not usually one for sports or political, like different time period movies. I'm more of a sci-fi, fantasy person myself, but I really liked this movie. I really liked how it portrayed the extreme racism that was going on in that time period. So overall, it was a really good movie with really good actors, and I give this movie a thumbs up. So, and that is my review of The Hurricane. Bye, history and film class.